how's it going, guys? My name's Sir AwesomeFoe, and today I got a special treat for y'all. First, hello. So, we all know that the Detective Pikachu movie came out last Friday, right? So, if you were lucky enough to go to Detective Pikachu on the opening weekend or opening week, which is still this week until Friday, you would get a special Detective Pikachu card, right? Well, unfortunately for me, I didn't get to go. But with the power of pay to win, I got all 18 collectible Detective Pikachu cards. And in this video, we'll be showing them off. So first things first, I want to give a shout out to my supplier. I'm not able to say who it is due to reasons. YouTube could be very hard sometimes, but because they came in these silver deep protected cases, I had to take them out of the case for the video, so that way it'll come out better. But without any further ado, let's get it. Let's see the cards. So as you can see, we got our Pokemon cards. So I'm just gonna grab them real quick. And our first pull was a Bulbasaur. So the Bulbasaur has 60 HP. His attack is find a friend, search for your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. As you can see, it's from the movie. As you can see, it's right there in the bottom left. It says NPC Films, and it gives a little description on the bottom right that says a strange seed was planted on its back at birth, and the plant sprouts and grows with this Pokemon. So as you can see right there, that Bulbasaur is actually from the movie. So that's pretty cool. And you'll notice that every single card has that hollow effect right there, that looks pretty cool on every Pokemon. If I were to turn the card just a little bit, you can see that hollow foil on it. But enough with Bulbasaur. Let's get on with the next one. We got Morlo. So as we all know, Morlo is a grass type. He has 50 HP and his attack is Sleep Spore. Your opponent activates active Pokemon is now asleep, and it does 10 damage. And as you can see in the bottom left, it says from the film. And on the bottom right, it says it scatters its shining spores around itself, even though they're dangerous. Nighttime towards the forest where Morlo lives are popular. So as you can see, and again we had that cool hollow effect on Morlo. So it's a pretty good, cute looking card. So we got a third card. We got Noble. So Noble's a fairy type, as we all know. 70 HP, and his attack is play rough. Flip a coin. If its heads, this attack does 30 more damage. If its tails, it only does 10. Again, it comes from the movie. And if we look at the bottom left, it grows close to others easily and is also easily spoiled. The disparity between its face and its actions makes many young people wild about it. So as always, it has that hollow effect right there, which is very pretty. So I like more Noble. I was still thinking about Mortal. I like Noble. It looks like a nice looking card. But enough with Noble. Next we got Ludicolo. So this is the first card. This is the first card in our deck that actually has a special ability. But first we got Ludicolo. He's a grass type, 140 HP, and his special ability is table service. Once during your turn, before your attack, you may heal 30 damage from one of your Pokemon. So, Ludicolo has the ability to heal another Pokemon 30 HP, which is very nice. Which is a reference to the movie. I won't give any spoilers, but it is. Also, he has an attack called the Punch and Run. Basically, with this Pokemon, with one of your bench Pokemon. So he'll do his attack and then switch with the Pokemon that's not active in the field yet. And if it in the bottom right of the description, it says if it hears spread the music, all its muscles filled with energy, it can help breaking out into a dance. That's Ludicolo for you. And as always, we got that special shiny effect onto the card. So next we got Slacking. So Slacking is always slacking around. Okay, I'll stop. As always, has 180 HP, 150 damage. His attack is Pitch. Your opponent switches their active Pokemon with one of their bench Pokemons. So it'll do 150 damage, and then like Ludicolo, it'll switch Pokemons. So this is the world's laziest Pokemon. I'd argue with that with Snorlax, but it's just me. It moves it to another spot when there's no food left within its reach. So I like Slacking. It's a beautiful card. I like it. And as always, you got the reverse holo on the card. So let's get this out of the way. And next we got our first fire type of the deck, Charizard. So Charizard is 180 HP, has 2 attacks instead of just 1. So first attack is Slash, it does 70 damage, and second attack is Wild Tackle, 180. This Pokemon does 50 damage to itself. So like in Super Smash Bros, when you use the right B, the left B, it does damage to itself while also doing damage to the other players if it hits. So it's a little reference to the card itself. Also, its description reads, when expelling a blast of super hot fire, the red flame at the tip of its tail burns more intensely. So it has a weakness to water, and it doesn't have resistance to anything. So as always, the reverse holo gives it that nice glare to it. Thank you, Charizard. We'll be moving on to the next one. So next we got our next fire type, Arcanine. So we got Arcanine. He's our next fire type, and he's our legendary Pokemon. So Arcanine has 120 HP damage, and he has the ability, as long as this Pokemon is active, all your Pokemon takes less than 30 less damage from your opponent's attacks after applying weakness and resistance. So with Arcanine on the field, it gives you an ability to take 30 less damage. So if a Pokemon does 30 or less damage, your Pokemon will receive no damage from that Pokemon. So that's a pretty OP move if you ask me, but that's just me. It also has the ability to attack with Sharp Fang. And if you read the descriptions, it says, legend tells them of its fighting along a general and conquering a whole country. So Arcanine has quite a bit of backstory to it. But as always, I like the reverse holo on the card. If I could get it to work, right? See, as you can see, the reverse holo, and there's actually a picture from the film. So it looks pretty nice. I like it. So Next, we got a superpower Pokemon, Machamp. So Machamp. So we'll start with Machamp here. Let me get into focus. So Machamp has 160 HP, and he has two special abilities. One is directing traffic. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck and put them back in any order. So it'll move your top 5 decks in anywhere into your cards. Also, he has the ability to cross chop. Flip a coin. If it's heads, it does 60 more damage. So if it's tails, it does 80 damage. If it's heads, it does 140 damage, which is very nice. So if it was a pair with Arcanine, and your opponent have Arcanine, then it'll only do 110 damage. But that's just a little reference there. And its description reads, it grabs its opponents with all 4 arms and twists them up on an intricate hold. People call it the Machamp special. So, that's the Machamp for you. And as always, you got the reverse holo on the card, giving it that nice glare. So next, we got a mouthful with this one because we got Lickitung. So Lickitung has 100 HP, and he has one attack called Continuous Lick. Flip a coin until you get tails. So you get the heads 4 times, and it will do 80 damage. So every single time you get heads, it does 20 damage. So 20, 20, 20, 20. So as long as you keep on getting heads, you'll keep on doing more damage, which is very nice. Easily OP, but it's a 50-50 chance. And the description reads, it checks out whatever it by licking everything. If you don't clean off a spot where it licks, you'll break out in a rash. So wherever he licks it, he'll lick everything just to know what it is. So, and if it licks you, make sure you take a shower because you're gonna be feeling it like if you were stung by a bee. So that's Lickitung for you. And as always, you can see that reverse holo around his tail and around his belly. So it's a beautiful card. And next, we got a Pokemon that could be any Pokemon. The transformed Pokemon himself, Ditto. Ditto only has 60 HP, but it can be any Pokemon it wants by using its ability Copy Anything. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon's attack and use it as an attack. If this attack doesn't have the necessary energy to use that attack, the attack does nothing. So you gotta make sure that you have enough energy to use the attack or it will do nothing. So its description reads, while it can transform into anything, each Ditto apparently has its own strengths and weaknesses when it comes to transformations. So that's Ditto for you. The Pokemon that could be anything. And you can see the reverse holo on the card looking beautiful as always. So we got another fairy type coming in. The barrier Pokemon himself, Mr. Mime. So Mr. Mime's an 80 HP Pokemon, Psychic type. And he has a special ability of its own called Patomine. So when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto the bench, during your turn you may switch one of your face down prize cards with the top of your deck. So you could do a switcheroo and then have a from this face down Pokemon, have a face down Pokemon, switch it out with Mr. Mime. But anywho, and it also has the ability Juggle. Flip 4 coins in this attack, the damage per each head. So realistically, you can get 80 attack damage if you get all 4 heads, but the chances of that happening is 8%, roughly speaking. So don't count too much on it. And then we have a description. Its Phenomines are wonderful. You may become enraptured while watching it, but things you should know. Mr. Mime has made a real wall. So either he pretends that there's a wall there, but when he tried to attack it, like in the trailers, when Pikachu tried to attack Mr. Mime, there's an actual wall there. That's what Phenomine do. In the trailers, actually. But in this, it just switches out your cards. So I like Mr. Mime. It has a special little twist to it. And as always, you can see the reverse hollows on his head, and the little purple one behind him. Next, we got the pre-evolution of a card we already seen before. A little fire type, a little lizard Pokemon, Charmander. Charmander has 60 HP, a lizard Pokemon as always, and we have the attack Reckless Charge. The Pokemon does 10 damage to itself while doing 20 to the opponent, if it hits. So just like Charizard with side B and with Map Bros and in Pokemon, the Charmander also does damage to itself. And if we look to the bottom right, the flame on its tail indicates Charmander's force. If it's healthy, the flame burns brighter. So you can tell that Charmander's health by how bright its tail is flaming. But as you can see, there's a reverse hollow effect right there. So it's a very beautiful card, as always. So next on my personal favorite, the card that does nothing, but it turns into one of the best cards in the game. Magikarp, the fish Pokemon. So, with Magikarp, it's a 30 HP Pokemon, doesn't really do much, and it has the ability Hold Still. This Pokemon heals 10 damage from this Pokemon. So, this Pokemon, let's say if it takes 10 damage, it heals 10 damage. But if it only has 30 health, so it won't last long, and it doesn't do any damage, so yeah, not very useful in battle. But if we look at the description, it says, in the distant past, we were fairly strong, but they have become gradually weaker over time. And then if you give Magikarp a stone, it will turn into Gyarados. But unfortunately, we don't have a Gyarados card with us. But it also has that hollow effect right there, as you can see, and right up there. So next we got one of our favorite water types. The water ninja himself, Greninja. Now with Greninja, he has 140 HP, and he has two abilities, attacks, as you can see. One ability is Evasion Jutsu. If any damage is done to the Pokemon, flip a coin. If heads, it prevents that damage. So let's say your Greninja just took 100 damage, and it lands on heads, he still has 140 HP, which is very OP in my opinion. And then he has this attack. This attack does 50 damage to two of your opponent's cards. So not just one, two of them. So that's very, very helpful for him actually. And if you read the description, it creates throwing stars out of compressed waters. When it spins them and throws them at high speed, these stars can split metal into two. So his compressed waters are actually stronger than metal, which is very interesting. But that's Greninja for you. And then, if as always, we'll just take a look at the reverse holo before we go. So next things next, we got the Pokemon that always has a headache. The duck Pokemon himself, Psyduck. So now that we got Psyduck here, we have an 80 HP Psyduck. His attack is Panic. This Pokemon is now confused, but does 10 damage. So has a chance to hit himself actually. So, oh Psyduck, you're nuts. Using Psychokinesis gives it a headache, so it normally passes the time spacing out and doing as little as possible. So that's why in the Detective Pikachu movie you can see him always with a headache, and if he doesn't have spawn music, his head explodes and kills everybody. Oh, Psyduck. And as always, we're gonna take a quick look at the reverse holo before we go. So next we got our legendary Pokemon. The Pokemon that came from another clone. Mewtwo. This a Mewtwo Pokemon card from the official Detective Pikachu movie. So we got 130 HP Psychic type Mewtwo. Has two attacks, it's Sidejack and Break Burn. Choose one of your Pokemon's active Pokemon attacks. That Pokemon cannot use an attack during your opponent's next turn. And then Break Burn. Discard 2 Psychic Energy cards from this Pokemon. So if we read the description, the Pokemon says this Pokemon was created by years of horrible gene splicing and DNA gone wrong. Well, engineering gone wrong. So Mewtwo, as you've seen in the first Pokemon movie, Mewtwo goes nuts when he fights Mew and then freezes Ash. That's not a spoiler warning because it's been over 10 years. If you haven't seen it, you haven't seen it. But that looks like a very cool representation of Mewtwo. And then if we can see a reverse holo as always. So next things next, we got my personal favorite card out of the whole deck. The singing fluffball herself, Jigglypuff. So we got Jigglypuff on the field. Jigglypuff has 60 HP and it's a balloon Pokemon as always, number 39. And her special ability is to heal 10 damage from each of your Pokemon. So she'll heal 10 damage on Jigglypuff, she'll heal 10 damage on Psyduck, on Greninja, etc. etc. So if you read her description, it says recording of Jigglypuff's strange lullabies can be purchased from the department stores. These CDs can be found near the bedding area. Because if you know about Jigglypuff, her song put everybody to sleep. And then once you fall asleep, she'll draw on your face because you fell asleep during her song. Jigglypuff, you gotta love her. So before we go, we're gonna take that look at the reverse holo. As you can see, the floor is shiny, but Jigglypuff isn't, which is very nice effect on her actually. And then last but not least, we got the special Pokemon himself. A movie dedicated all to him. The mouse Pokemon, Detective Pikachu. So Detective Pikachu, the 90 HP card. has its 2 special attacks. Scout, your opponent must reveal their hands. And the surprise attack. Flip a coin. If it's tails, the attack does nothing. If it's head, it does 80 damage. And if you read the description for the last time, we love to show off his vast knowledge. This impressive Pikachu is like a middle-aged man, which is voiced by Ryan Reynolds, and which was also the voice of Deadpool during Deadpool movies. So I can't wait to see him in action. So if we take one look at that reverse holo before we go. But that's all 18 collectible Detective Pikachu cards. If they are available for purchase if you online. That's how I got mine. But you can also get them from seeing the movie this week. If not, then you'll just have to wait and find them in the wild. But with that being said, that's all 18 Pokemon cards, all the Detective Pikachu Pokemon cards. So tell me in the description below which one was your favorite. As always, this one's my favorite. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed that video. If y'all did, hit that like button down below. If y'all want to see more of this, or we could do a pack opening or something, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to do so. But with that being said, will you be a furry friend? That's for you to decide. See you guys.